Burying my head in that country feels both right and like an act of cultural appropriation. I'm Spanish or American when I visit Spain. Speaking in an Andalusian accent feels both right and like an act of mockery. When I'm in America, well, what am I? At a very young age, I was told by my parents my name is Kadimet. This mere stage concluded to me that I am a human living in a world with two other humans who care about me. At an older age, I was told by a white gymnastic teacher that my name is actually Kat. At an even older age, I was told my name is weird, and at that point I thought straightening my hair would balance out the negative feelings being called weird gave me. At that age, I self-identified as white. What else could I be? I'm now a 21-year-old living in a body that feels conflicted with too many thoughts on what race I am. And with these thoughts, I'm clouded with too many ideas of how I should be feeling in certain scenarios in regard to the ethnicities I hold. I always subconsciously swallowed whole thoughts of why I should feel a certain way in a certain scenario. But I can finally understand that this process is defined as feeling rules. I'm coming to terms with the idea that when I visit the homelands of my Spanish mother, my Iranian father, and my own homeland of America, my interaction as a mixed ethnicity person with locals of each homeland defines how I should be feeling. I will be told by American media to not go to Iran and tell people that I'm American. That's unsafe. I should agree with them because apparently the Middle East is dangerous, but I feel both safe seeing my family in Iran and a little bit unsafe with the constant idea being ingrained that the Middle East is dangerous. I will be told by Andalusian locals that I must be rich since I'm American, and I should feel lucky to be so rich and happy. I should feel flattered being called rich because having money in my westernized eyes says that money means happiness, and I should be happy. But I feel both complimented and uneasy because I find being called rich leaving me with a feeling of pseudo-snobbiness that not all rich people hold, but absolutely do not. I will be told by students at WW that I should feel offended when people ask me where I'm really from. I understand the politics behind that question and why I should feel offended, but if I'm being honest, I don't really feel offended. I love talking about the different Spanish and Iranian experiences my parents have passed along to my sister and I. My experience that combats the feeling rules of WW aren't to say that those feeling rules are necessarily wrong, but it does influence how I interpersonally communicate with people around me on campus. I want to tell people that being asked about my ethnicity doesn't offend me completely, but I'm also navigating through all of this, and I'm starting to notice more how uncomfortable it is or can be to be constantly asked what one is. In my opinion, we're all human. I'm learning that these three feeling rules heavily impact how I interpersonally communicate with people. Some instances, I will interact in a way that feels like I am being othered, whereas other instances, I'll have an open and honest conversation about my ethnicities. Throughout this realization of how the feeling rules impact my everyday life, I come to a conclusion that I am heavily attached to the idea of race, and specifically mine. I want to work on being able to interact with people without constantly thinking about my position racially versus theirs. This cathexis to race is one that is both equally good for me and bad for me, because in the end of the day, I want to interact with people and see us as two humans interacting, rather than one race interacting with another. I do think that acknowledging this cathexis is the first step to seeing myself as Kadimet, rather than a Spanish Iranian living in America. Will also help me interact with people as humans rather than as different races. In the end of the day, I'm Kadimet, and I'm just trying to figure myself out.